Oh, Southern Commanders, Dimebot here, and I'd like to welcome you guys to a very special episode on the channel. We have a couple of guests today. We have from Distant Worlds 3, Karnath, and from Distant Worlds, and also MetaElite, which we're going to be getting into if you haven't seen it, JT. So, gentlemen, how are you today?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, doing good. So, Karnath, let's start with you. Give me, for those that don't know, give me the quick elevator pitch for Distant Worlds 3.
Okay. So Distant Worlds 3 is a massive community exploration event where we will depart from the Distant Worlds home base, and we will set on an adventure to some mystery locations, to put it that way.
Now, I went on Distant Worlds 2, and I'm intrigued by the mystery locations, and I can tell you guys, there's stuff out there that even if it's not mystery locations, there's things in the game that you've never seen that may surprise you if you haven't done serious exploring. A lot of people have never seen crystals or void hearts or the barnacles, things like that.
So what we're finding basically now is there's a lot of new players that are joining the this Distant Worlds 3 expedition. If you go back to 2019, when the original Distant Worlds 2 was happening, the galaxy was a very different situation now. There was a lot of seasoned players, but this time, we are finding that some of the commanders, they haven't left the bubble yet. They haven't certainly been on or if they have left the bubble, they certainly haven't done the distances that we'd expect to see what we're going to cover in this 4-month expedition. And it's kind of exciting, and there's been a lot of we've wrote a lot of information out there for the new players. There's a lot of information in MetaElite, which I'm sure JT will touch on, to help new players obtain Guardian technology to increase jump ranges and help progress their ships to be exploration ready.
And I've seen some of it myself. I do a lot of tutorials and guides on the YouTube channel. I have seen view counts interest in like exploration guide and outfitting guide and that kind of thing has jumped in the
Yes.
past couple of weeks as people get ready. And there's also a lot of things that were not in the game in 2019, as you said, like fleet carriers, like taking fleet carriers along like this. The Caspian just recently completely decimated the fast long distance travel meta.
Yeah, it's funny how the Caspian came around as Distant Worlds 3 is almost launching.
Somebody would have to have planned that. Come on.
Yeah, very some smart guy for sure.
So, and you mentioned MetaElite, and I've played around with MetaElite. So, JT, why don't you? I'm going to have some footage of it right now because I've been playing around with it. Why don't you kind of let people know what MetaElite is and how it ties into DW3, so we could kind of just weave those together going forward.
Okay, so MetaElite was an Othon von Salza UI that he really wanted to bring sort of storytelling and a bit of mystery stuff, puzzles and that sort of thing into Elite. And he's been sat on this program for a few years and just couldn't quite get it to work to do what he wanted it to. But then Distant Worlds 3 kicked off, sort of beginning of last year. I think I'm right in that, Karnath.
Yeah,
and
January last year.
Yeah, January. God, that long. And Othon sort of rewrote the program, rebuilt it to be a storytelling tool. And now, what it does is it will give you a set of campaigns, a campaign with a set of missions and tasks in it. So it gives you narrative to what you're doing. So one of the first things that I wanted to do, so I've been an elite explorer for a decade or so, quite some time. Been there, seen it, done it, collected it. But there's so many new players who haven't. So things like the INRA bases, not many people know about them anymore. So one of the first campaigns that I wanted to write, and as I say, I practiced using MetaElite on this, was to get players to go from a certain lore location, set off a trigger, and then it introduces the player to each of the INRA bases in an order and gives you a little story to go along with it. The program itself reads the journals which are created. So it allows you to go to a place or scan a thing, or land somewhere, and that will then complete a task. So it's quite a clever little toy, but it will really, really help with storytelling as we move into the future.
It's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. So I'm glad you can see that. So, I mean, for example, just while we're on that INRA thing, I don't know whether you know, but if you go to Lave Station and you go into the station, go to the barman, and in local chat, ask him about INRA, that may or may not trigger the mission. So I'll leave that with you. So, we can hide things in Elite. We can put triggers in specific lore locations. In theory, you could do BGS with it, although we haven't actually played with that yet.
I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah. But that kind of brings us to Distant Worlds 3, which is different to the other two in the fact that it's actually got a storyline going. So there is narrative being written, and on the website there is a Story So Far tab, which is basically releasing chapters of a potential book every few days, and MetaElite ties into that. So the player can experience the storyline and do things which will aid the storyline in real time.
That's going to be really, really cool to take along. And I'll say, myself and my chat, we were delighted. We did the Easter egg quest for the Distant Worlds 3 headquarters system on stream. That's absolutely delighted by flying around the system and like trying to figure out. And I was stumped on the good tilt Earth until once somebody goes, "It's a Lord of the Rings reference, dummy." And then we were like, "Oh."
So, I can happily say that that one wasn't one of mine. It's brilliant.
But it was a delight to go and land and be like, "Oh, this is triggered." Oh, and the bartender one. Now I've landed at Distant Worlds Bar and or Beagle Bar, and now MetaElite is spitting out the drink menu for me on the side. It's just really cool.
It is. It's fabulous. So my personal favorite in that one was the NPC Sunny, which is a completely homegrown thing from the Distant Worlds guys. It's absolutely superb.
And
love it.
I got to give you guys props because being one, a streamer, and two, an Elite player, I've got a billion things running when I'm playing the game. And the fact that I was running Voice Attack and ED Copilot and MetaElite all at the same time, and nothing crashed, nothing tripped over the other program's feet, everything was just fine, is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think they've managed to get it working on Linux, and after Distant Worlds 3, Orthon, I think, may have a look at VR stuff, possibly.
If it works on Linux, I'd say I'd try it on my Steam Deck, but installing stuff like that on the Steam Deck is like beating your head against a wall, so...
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
I think somebody managed to get it to work as well. I think it's definitely working on MacBooks and things like that as well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't have the patience for it sometimes, but the tool itself and the way you're weaving it into Distant Worlds is actually really interesting. And one thing that was a little different about DW2 than I think is gonna definitely happen with DW3 is DW2 is like, we're starting here, we're going here, here's the timeline. I guess we'll see you all there. And DW3 feels much, much more directed, which is great for the newer players that have not left the bubble. And, I flew to Colonia in a Asp Explorer when we could only plot like 500 light years at a time and there was no neutron highway. So I'm an old hand at that kind of stuff, just like you guys are. But for the new players, that's immensely helpful. Has that been like a real big focus, or was that something you guys realized halfway, like partway in, were like, we really need to step this up?
Well, I think from a MetaElite point of view, from a MetaElite point of view, that is kind of the whole point of it. So we've done a few campaigns now where it has guided the player. I think we did a high gravity mission. I don't know whether you've done that one. Yeah. So that again directs players along a short expedition, really just to prove that we could do it. But also, as well as giving the players training, it also proved our, exploration, routing, and stuff like that we can do with it.
Yes. So, I've not done the high grav. Have you guys ever seen the GIF of the anaconda crashing and rolling over on a high grav planet?
Yes.
I was there for that, so I have PTSD of high grav planets.
It wasn't totally high gravitational as well, though. We're probably going to encounter a lot worse out there than the little test. Yeah.
Oh, people think they know what Stellar Forge can do just by tooling around near the bubble. You have no idea what's actually waiting out there.
No.
So, could you give us any teasers on anything really cool that we might be running into? If you can't, I understand.
I can't give you any spoilers. What we can we can definitely say, because I've said it before, is Distance Worlds 1, 2. They were always based on Beagle Point being the final destination. Purely from views, that was kind of like the maximum at the time that you could really reach to with these with the jump drives of the ships at the time and what was available. So obviously Distant Worlds 1 ended in Beagle Point, same Distant Worlds 2 ended at Beagle Point. So Beagle Point will always play a role in Distance Worlds because that's its bread and butter, so to speak. But however, with Distant Worlds 3, Beagle Point is not going to be the end location.
I find that
we've
really
got so much more. Yeah, we've got so much more to show you. Yeah, it's exciting. It really is. Yeah, I really do hope that with a couple of days to go now, really hope everyone's going to have a great time, and the size of the community that's involved in it as well, and there's lots of things to do on the way as well. Lots of little side quests, little side missions. There's racing on planet surfaces at the waypoints, the meetups. There'll be voice channels, obviously, on the FleetCon Discord, which I'm still not sure how we're going to cope with everybody that wants to join, but we'll obviously do the best we can do.
It's going to be a lot. I'm glad that we're not ending at Beagle Point for a couple reasons. I look back at Distant Worlds 2, and I was in a Jump Conda, and even back then, pretty much maxed out. What that thing could do, my Mandalay eats it alive, and my Mandalay's not fully stripped down. And also, in a lot of ways, Beagle Point, it's kind of become like Mount Everest is in real life. It's a tourist destination, and somebody can help you get there that knows what they're doing, and it's not actually that hard. So
not now, not with the way the modern jump drives and the additions to the game now is going back. Obviously those years back to 2019. There's the introduction of fleet carriers. As you said yourself, so everything's it's easy reachable now. With the Caspian, the Neutron Highway, you can be there very, very quickly.
I remember being terrified of that last jump into Beagle Point too, because if you screwed it up, you weren't coming back. But
yeah, or especially if you didn't have any Japonian left as well.
Oh God, yeah. But moving back to something you said, Distant Worlds is not just the whole expedition. You mentioned the meetups, and they're going to do the liftoffs, but let's touch more on the different meetups, because Distant Worlds is not just taking along explorers. There are miners and the Hull Seals and the Fuel Rats. This is an organization that is moving out into space.
Yeah, this is Distance World is something for everybody. As you said, there will be mining. Mining tritium will definitely be needed for the fleet carriers, especially if everybody that's on one wants to get home. We're going to need filling up, that's for sure. There's there's so much community events. So Distance World is all based and it always has been based around the elite community, and I think a lot of it where it gets certainly very interesting is when people do get to the waypoints at the ground bases, or wherever it was, and people chatting about what they're doing, how they're getting there, what they've come across. Because yes, we've got fleet carriers that are going to take us so far, and then it's going to be every pilot for themselves, which will come to waypoint. And there'll be a lot of interesting stories be told on how those people got to the waypoint, what they found on the way, what they encountered, the experiences that they've had as well, and as Connie said, the kind of friendships build up along the way as well.
Mm-hmm. JT, are you guys going to be like building like? I can almost see you guys putting a mission in MetaElite. It's like, hey, fleet carriers have arrived. We need this many tons of tritium. You guys could go here, here, and here, and loading that into MetaElite as a mission for them to take part in.
Yeah, that is literally exactly what we'll do. We have the actual route campaign, which will have other stories hanging off it at certain points. Obviously, I don't want to go too much into that at all.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the regular stuff like mining tritium, we can do stellar scans, that sort of thing. Now,
in that way, it almost becomes an easier way to keep track of the goals in a game than having to look at FleetCom is an overwhelming Discord server. Let's just say that.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, so MetaElite again can be used almost like a little journal on its own, just a weekly reminder of where you need to be and when you need to be there. So use it as a diary.
Yeah, that was a hard thing for me to keep track of on Distant Worlds too. Was where do I need? Because I'm also like a squirrel, and if I see something on the galaxy map, like a little chunk of a nebula or something that looks shiny, I'm like, how far is that? I can make that. So. But I think
it's a lot further than you think.
Sometimes it really is. So, but I'm really looking forward to that. In fact, I'm gonna have to go in after this and add 2 more ships to my registration, because I'm gonna bring my Caspian, and I think I'll bring my Type 11 just to have it with. And speaking of ships that also change up the meta, how convenient that they put out a ship that completely breaks the mining meta last year while DW3 is ramping up.
Yes. Yeah, it's all very well planned for sure.
Oh, I know. What has FDev's involvement been besides just is it really just saying, hey guys, this really awesome community event is happening?
No, to be honest, I can only sing FDev's praises. We reached out to FDev in January, so basically the Distant Worlds 3 kind of idea started. There was Aramis and myself were doing a rerun of the Distant Suns expedition, where we were literally going to Beagle Point, mm-hmm. In the original kind of like an ASP with a 35 light year range, and we were doing that, and we were talking as we were going along, and as we were kind of like talking, we kind of got back into the love of exploration as we were obviously heading the old-fashioned way up to Beagle Point, and we started talking about Distance Worlds and new Distance Worlds, and what could we do, or we thought we wouldn't do another one unless it could be something that was completely different than the previous 2 we had to offer the community, something bigger, better, and more with certainly with more structure to it. And it was that point that, going back to what JT was saying about Othon's program or MetaElite, what it was originally designed for, and it kind of popped in my head, and I thought, okay, what about this? What if I approach Othon and ask him if he's willing to continue to develop the software for a Distance Worlds 3, and we kind of build it around this software of what we can do. We can introduce a narrative to Distance Worlds, I mean, it's had little narratives before, with obviously with the building of Explorer's Anchorage on Distant Worlds 2, but we weren't able to tell that kind of story in the way that we're doing now with MetaElite. And that's where it really kind of all stemmed from in the beginning. And I said that was back in January, and so we come up with the idea of what we're going to do. We proposed a load of ideas at the time in January to Frontier, and didn't really get much feedback from it, if I'm honest, in January. But we were obviously the team. I mean, we're only a small team, 40 odd volunteers, so to speak,
Right.
who have been. I can't even explain the amount of work that the team has put in from January to where we are today. It's been non-stop with obviously with the ideas coming, putting everything into place, making everything sure that everything works, the development of MetaElite, the development of the science projects, and just trying to piece this big puzzle together. It's been amazing to watch, and really credit to the team.
I think it'll become very apparent very quickly once we actually kick this thing off, too.
Very much so, yeah, very much so. And it wasn't till maybe September time when I reached back out to Frontier. It kind of really then took up a pace to a point of daily emails, but between us, obviously planning what we can do, what sort of support they can give us. And it really went from there, and since that point they've been absolutely fantastic. I'm not shy, so I've asked for everything.
Right.
If you don't ask, you don't get. So
Exactly.
we've just asked for as much as we possibly can. What obviously we've got like there's a dev that's kind of looking after us as well, making sure stuff is where it's supposed to be and on time. Yeah, it's they've been very good. Can't fault them. Really
That's
happy with the support.
that's about what I was expecting, honestly. This game has a very vocal minority player base. Sometimes that you have to have this and that. And I've found, because I am an elite partner, and I've found dealing with them that way. And I'm sure that sometimes Chris, after I've looked at his email, is like, no, not Dimebot again. What does he want? But those devs are
Yeah,
actually really fascinated most of the time by what we want to do or what we are doing with their game.
exactly, and it benefits everybody. At the end of the day, we're here. It's a fantastic community. Is the Elite Dangerous community.
Yeah, the
And
devs are
what
just, they
we're doing.
communicate when they, not when they want to, but they communicate as they feel they need to. Like they don't want to say more than they have to a lot of the time, and I can't blame them for that.
Oh,
But most of the time, they're fantastic.
yeah, the dev stuff, the community staff as well. So obviously we have a community gentleman that we talk to, and obviously relate stuff to the devs that's looking after the Distance Worlds expedition. And yeah, just really happy to be a part of that. And I say, we're kind of at a daily email sort of stage, just make sure everything's ready. And yeah, there's some exciting stuff that's going to come along, and I really hope everybody enjoys it.
I do too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope we also don't explode a server like we did last time when we launched DW2.
Oh, it's all going to fall apart on Sunday for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
definitely.
It's going to be glorious, though.
Yeah,
It is. Yeah, it is.
the thick end of 10,000 players is going to ruin it.
Right. Like, Elite was not built for that many people to hyperspace out of the save system at once.
No, you know you're going to be chugging 2 frames per second. That's for sure.
Right, I know, but it's still going to be glorious. The whole expedition is going to be absolutely fantastic. And what is the official cutoff date for signups? We are like there, I think.
Yes. The final day is today to join the Fleetgrom private group. So everything, all the announcements and everything else will all take take place in FleetCom's Discord, and today is kind of the last day because of the amount of influx that the admins get, who are doing an absolutely fantastic job. The problem that they find, and it's been reiterated quite a few times, is that unfortunately when people are filling out the paper applications, you join the FleetCom server, there's a paper application you've got to fill up. There's spelling mistakes of commander names, which then takes longer for the admin team to process them. So if you are putting an application in at this last moment in time, at the last minute, please fill out the form properly, check that everything's properly, especially your commander name. It's vital to get you put through and save time. And but today is cut-off day for the FleetCom private group.
Right. Now that is for the FleetCom private group
to FleetCom.
Yeah. So just to clarify for commanders, that doesn't mean you can't come on Distant Worlds 3. That's the cutoff for FleetCom. So.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean. I mean, obviously, if Distant Worlds 3 is open to everybody. Just obviously make sure that you sign up on the roster. But there's nothing stopping you from coming along as long as you are. Well, I mean, you don't even have to be. To be honest, actually, as long it'd be helpful for you if you do manage to get on one of the 4 official fleet carriers. If you can get onto that, then obviously you're going to be at the start of the expedition, and you're welcome to come along.
Yeah.
If you miss them, you're still obviously welcome to play catch up and come along if obviously time allows you to do that.
And I would highly recommend it. There's nothing like this kind of thing, and DW3 is going to be even different from what I know. There's nothing like what we're doing. Running into commanders out there while we were doing Distant Worlds 2 was great, and just the exploring in Solitude was great, but the whole experience of being part of this giant train of commanders that is forging across the in-game galaxy is really cool.
Well, we're changing it up just a little bit as well. I mean, we've said for the start system, you're going to end up on a fleet carrier. We're also not telling you where you're going. So we're going to get everybody on board these fleet carriers and disappear. So you'll find out where we're going when we get there.
Which I'm super excited about because, we knew where we were going on the first waypoint of Distant Worlds 2. We knew exactly where we were going. So I think one of my buddies had even gone out there and come back before the expedition ever left. So this one, no spoilers, no telling, it's get in the carriers, go have some drinks at the bar, and figure out where we're going to come out.
Yep, that's it. So there are 5 people who know the route. That's it.
Oof. Yikes, it's like the nuclear football.
It's worse than that. It's so much worse.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, gentlemen. I thank you very much. Guys, this is going to be really cool. Make sure if you're going, get MetaElite. Get it downloaded. It's not hard to install. The first thing you should do is change the color to blue, away from orange.
the orange actually was a choice, but yeah, you can change the colors now. Don't forget to click the little information button on the right-hand side.
Yes.
Yes,
right.
Great show.
Yeah.
Don't be like me.
Read the instructions.
I'm a typical streamer. You know how much streamers and YouTubers, we don't like to read instructions, especially live.
I'm an engineer, so we don't like instructions either.
No, but that is a comprehensive introduction to the UI, and God bless whoever made the resize button down there too. Because I put it on a vertical monitor, so the normal orientation was hanging into my game. I was like, that's not right. But
yeah, but once you've moved it and resized it once, it will remember where it was.
It was, and the fact that the way it projects into the game is nice and seamless. It's beautifully done. It's going to be a huge integration into Distant Worlds 3 from everything that JT and Karnath have told us. I'm looking forward to that. But I won't keep you chancing any longer. I know you have a whole lot to do. Please try not to tear your hair out before we launch. And
I'm sure we'll be all right. We'll struggle.
It'll be all right. It's going to be a fun time. Thank you, gents.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.